Chapter 5. How Can We Get Out? So what do y'all think? Asked Nanny. Let's hear everyone's ideas. It was early evening. The rain coming down made a gentle pattering on the tin roof. The animals had reassembled and roll had been called. Inside the barn had a nice earthy smell of sweet hay, musk horse, molasses oats, and wood. On the left side of the barn's central aisle were the pins of Mrs. Brown and Pull and Tug, their heads and shoulders visible above the stall's half doors. On the right side was Nanny, and Tick's pin next to that, Figs, and then Fluff's. Burdock perched on the coil of rag rope that lay disregarded in the wide central aisle of the barn. Thoughts, anyone? Said Nanny again. No one said anything. Burdock glanced to the left and to the right as best as he could without moving. He didn't like being seated where everyone could focus on him. It made him feel as if more than his presence was required, as if he would be expected to actually talk. And he hadn't thought of one intelligent thing to say. Except for the rain, it was quiet in the barn. Pole shifted his ponderous weight on the straw, breaking the silence. Well, said Nanny. Even though it wasn't yet night, the barn lay in darkness under the approaching storm's gray coat. The way I see it, ventured Pole, clearing his throat and beginning slowly in his deep, grainy voice, is since we don't know for certain what Dewey's plan is, we need to plan ourselves. An escape plan. Oh, Pole, good idea, said Fluff admiringly. Oh, please, snorted Figgy. We all know that much. What I mean is, said Pole, we need a way to get out of the barn. We're all closed in our stalls at night, and the barn doors are locked. Locked? Wondered Burdock. He had never realized this. Really? Asked Nanny. How do you know that? You can hear it, said Pole. Every evening when Dewey's leaves, he closes the doors right. At first you hear that horrible creak that he never fixes, and then you hear a clunk like something, board or brace is being dropped into place. Said Nanny. She turned to Burdock. Burdock, love, I know it's wet out, but might you go check, please? Burdock picked himself from the coil of the rope and made his way down the aisle and slipped out the small, jagged hole in the door. With the rain coming down more thickly now, he crouched under the overhang of the roof and peered up. Of course Burdock had seen the doors many times before, but he had never really looked at them. Sure enough, a heavy oak bar slotted down into two L-shaped grips, one on each of the tall wooden doors, locking the animals inside. Burdock returned through the small hole and settled back down on the pile of rope. Just as Pole said, he confirmed. Then he gave a full description. Well, if that's not grist for the mill, said Tug. It's certainly not good, sighed Nanny. I just hope, said Miss Brown, in her near whispering, lifting her head above her stall door, that we can get out before Dewey. Her voice became inaudible. Does what he's intending to do. Agreed, said Pole, but hope is not a plan. We need to think. I say, we get cracking. I like it here well enough until now, though I will say the feed seems not to be as good quality lately. Or as plentiful, added Tug. Or as plentiful, agreed Pole. But everything's different now. Yesterday morning, Burdock heard Dewey say, it has to be the barn, which sounds like to me his mind is made up. And I would say Grady is the smarter one here, certainly more level-headed, and might be able to stop Dewey. But has anyone seen Grady since yesterday? The truck's gone, said Figgy. Right, emphasized Pole. It's been gone since yesterday. Grady never goes away overnight. Have you ever known Grady to not be here for even a night? Several animals shook their heads. Burdock tried to remember if he'd seen Grady since the kitchen argument, and decided he hadn't. It seemed pretty obvious to me, continued Pole. Dewey's going to burn down the barn. It's likely he's planning to take us down with it. And let's be straight. I, for one, have no intent of dying here. It was a chilling thought that silenced everyone. On the roof, the rain continued to drum steadily, and the constant patter high above the animals' heads reinforced the very outline of their home. Burdock looked up at the darkness, at the beam of the high peak. Until now, the structure had always seemed like such thoroughly permanent thing. So then, how do we get out? Asked Nanny. We could try leaving during the day, suggested Tug. I thought of that, said Fig. But first of all, you all know the pasture is a mighty powerful electric fences. Second of all, if Dewey did catch us trying to escape, he'd find us and haul us back, and who knows what he'd do then. And so third, I think we need to escape when Dewey couldn't possibly think it. He's always mucking around during the day. We have to just vanish in the dark so he'll never know we're gone. Vanished? asked Fluff, incredulous. Escape, said Figgy irritably. I mean escape. But how can we get out? Nanny asked again. Well, yes, agreed Pull. That's the big question. The meeting ended with no clear plan. As soon as the gathering was over, Burdock slipped away up the corner staircase to the hayloft. He didn't usually come up here. The air here was gritty with the hay dust, but with the rain battering down, he wasn't going outside, and he wanted to be someplace where he could be alone and undisturbed. He had an odd feeling, fizzy on the edge of his brain, as he tucked into a pocket between two hay bales, and he let himself think it. He could escape. It was dumb, Burdock knew, that he hadn't thought of this before, but the truth was, it hadn't taken Nanny to ask him to go out and check the doors for him to realize it. Unlike the others, he was not trapped in the stall or locked in by the barn doors. Nothing was really preventing him from walking away from Dewey, the barn, his life here, and the other animals. Burdock the cat could go it alone.